my true self.
Welcome back to Retro Rebound. In today's video, I'm answering the most obvious question ever asked in human history. Is Persona 4 Golden worth it? Absolutely. There's every single day of the week that it is worth it. You might want to wait a little bit longer though to experience Persona 4 for the first time. Indeed, I played this game multiple times. I played it first when I was in college and then again in 2017. However, when Persona 3 Reload came out, I got that Persona fever again. I was like, ooh, I want to go play 4. But then the brain started to get going. If they're remaking 3, you think they're going to remake 4, right? So I know a lot of people are here wondering about Persona 4. How good is it? Why do people talk so highly of it? And I could use my words, but visuals also tell a very important part of this story here. Every single version of Persona 4 imaginable, not including, by the way, what's in my Steam library, what's in my Xbox library, all these different versions of Persona 4 I own. I always buy Persona 4, everything, merch, games, everything, and no doubt, when the collector's edition comes around, I'll be buying that too. Love my Persona. That's not really a secret here. So yes, Persona 4 is always worth it, but why? And is it for you? I aim to answer that question here today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're into what's going on with nostalgic and retrospective content, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing. Now, there's a million places I can go with this. This isn't our first Persona 4 video. The first time we talked about it was involving Persona 4 Golden exclusively. And we were talking about Persona 4 Golden exclusively because it was finally making the leap off the Vita over to PC. And after that, it made the leap from PC all the way to everywhere. And so at the Grimoire edition over at Limited Run Games, there was also a Master Edition, but I had to temper myself a little bit. I was like, all right, I own this game like 8 million times, so I'm just gonna buy like I think this was $80 ultimately. As you can see though, still sealed, so I don't remember what's on the inside of this, but that ain't changing because that's my yacht in the future. Nonetheless, we were celebrating then, so I was giving more of a breakdown of why Persona 4 was special to me and more so talking about its gameplay. Today I'm here to explain why this stat gets so high. The reason this stat gets so high is one simple answer, and that's characters. Now, Persona 4 is a very unique game, and as we'll talk about in this video, Persona 3 Reload has a factor in this whole conversation. We already have confirmation that there's going to be some recasts with the Persona 4 remake, like Yuri Lowenthal isn't back. This is a big deal. But Persona 4's cast was like an all-timer, lightning in the bottle kind of moment. It's very hard to have the budget to get one of Yuri Lowenthal, of Troy Baker, of Laura Bailey in your video game. And that's ignoring other star-studded talent like Johnny Young Bosch or Aaron Fitzgerald. Like just amazing talent across the board. Some of the most iconic voices in gaming. And all of them are in one game. So to only get one of them is a big deal for games. To have all of them in a single JRPG is like, you just can't do that again. I mean, I guess you could, but if you're a business, it's gonna cost a lot of money. Nonetheless, those performances were at the heart of all of these characters. Persona 3 Reload had great recasts. Persona 4 getting recast does have me a little just like, dude, Yuri Lowenthal is my favorite actor ever. Man, to lose him as Yosuke, man. But nonetheless, I get into all of this with characters. This is a game that when you beat it and you walk away, you will be sad. It is a game that makes you feel like you have made friends with this party. And that's because of free time. And I'm not talking about just the social link free time of Persona, but rather how the story of Persona 4 is paced. There is a murder mystery. There is this whole TV mystery, and you're trying to solve what's going on in the shadow world versus the real world. That is the driving force of the plot. But these are still teenagers. They have jobs and things to do and places to be, and they're trying to live all these lives at once. In a lot of ways, it kind of reminds me of Spider-Man 2.
How'd that get in there?
Nonetheless, this means that throughout your adventure, you're gonna go to places like the beach. You're gonna go camping. Like, you're obligated to do these things because sometimes they're like school trips. And this is where the game wins you over, because then you see these characters just being humans with one another. And it's where some of the funniest moments in gaming are born, in my opinion. Like, comedy is really tough to do in video games, but I think Persona 4 absolutely knocks it out of the park. It is a laugh out loud game, but again, it's because of the voice cast. That is a big part of the winning formula here. Nonetheless, though, you will grow attached to these characters because of not the time you spend with them in volume, but it's the quality of time spent. Just going out shopping together, going camping, going hiking, these things, these events in the game's story are easily as good as the most emotional points in the story. They're easily as good as the most intense points in the story. It's a wonderfully paced video game where it is Atlas at their best, where they're really known for making these journey-like experiences, 100+ hour games. Persona 4 Golden, for the record, for those who are curious, took me about 80 hours to beat last time I played it. So still really long game, but not as long as like 5 Royal, like we're talking 130+ hours there. But when it comes to Persona 4 Golden, still a journey, and you grow that attachment there. But it's not just, again, through, oh, I'm with these characters for a while. It's the moments of growth and the way they communicate with one another, and those life events that they experience with one another, the way that time passes through Persona 4, everything from the weather to like when it's snow falling and how the school reacts to it. It's a living, breathing world, as corny and cliche. I hate that term, but it really is that. But at the center point of it all is its characters. That combined with the music that no doubt you've already heard, and even if you don't like Persona, I know a lot of people just listen to Persona music because it is that good. Like, it is a part of the business, man. Like, Persona music has to slap. And I think that really, like, Persona 3 and even 1 and 2, like, they had great music. Don't get me wrong, especially 3. But I think Persona 4 is what really put their music on the map of like, oh, what is this game? What is this game? So yeah, it's about the characters. It's about the story. The gameplay in Persona 4 has always been fantastic in my opinion, but after Persona 5, that's where things started to hurt a little bit more going back. The social gameplay was solid, but it was still what I'd call more classic Persona. Between Metaphor and Persona 5 Royal, Atlas has moved in a more, I think, meaningful direction with their social links, trying to tell stories about the world or tying these characters to the main story in ways that you don't have as many throwaway social links. Persona 4 has less throwaway social links than Persona 3, but there's still a decent amount that I feel are just like a little bit out there or crazy. There are some wild ones. I'll just say the nurse one. What? How are they going to do that in the remake? But between that and the activities you'd pick, like the social gameplay's always been great, and 4 has a lot of good social links. Mostly, I think the ones tied to the main party. I also love always calling that little kid you decide to tutor. I love calling him a dick. I find that to just be the funniest thing ever. Like, you're just a real dick, you know that? Like, I always just thought that was a great dialogue option. It makes me laugh every time I see it. But nonetheless, when it comes to Persona 4's dungeon exploring experience, to me, it's a step above Persona 3, but that ain't saying much at times. Persona 3 had Tartarus. Persona 3 Reload adhered to the original vision, we'll call it, and kept Tartarus. Persona 4, I'm not saying everyone needs to have their palaces, but I think now we take a look at this bad boy here in Persona 3 Reload, and we're like, okay, what can we expect from a Persona 4 remake in the gameplay department? And that's where, barring the voice casting changes, I am really excited, because if you can bring the gameplay in line with 5 even, just base 5, not even 5 Royal, or Metaphor, oh my word, y'all are in for a treat if you've never played this before. Some upgrades that Persona 3 Reload introduced, one was the phone. This just trims down the time you spend walking around places. I will say, after 5, a lot of the fast traveling that's in Persona and the menu swapping really breaks me out of the experience. This happened even with Metaphor for me. I'm just in menus more in the world. Like, just navigating most of the game's social moments through text messages, it's really good quality of life. But at the same time, it does break me out of it when it's like you're in that social rhythm and you're just fast traveling constantly and just running through conversations. Another great choice that Persona 3 Reload made was fully voicing VAs. And Persona 4 is no doubt going to have that, and that's going to be really great. I think that's an easy choice to make that makes the story better. So instead of just voicing the first rank of the social link and maybe the final one, now all of them will be voiced. That's going to bring a lot of emotion to the forefront where you're really going to capture these characters in an even deeper way, which I'm just so pumped about. Persona 3 Reload also added new activities, and the idea that Persona 4 will have new activities is cool because in the base game, those activities I think were really good. Like, you'd have to choose between, in the early game, do I want to make a little money doing like origami and crafting, or like stamping letters, or do I want to study a little bit? And obviously this would play into the school system where as you go to class, if your studies aren't up, your academics aren't up, then unfortunately that means you might fail a test, and you want to get this stuff right, because if you don't, then you're not going to get some of the best items in the game. This also goes for social links, which give you items too. But really where I think 3 Reload could have the biggest impact on 4 in a positive way are a few key mechanics. One was shifting, which is basically baton passing. For those who don't know, Persona 4 does not have this sort of feature at all. It's just traditional turn-based combat. And even more strange is Persona 4 Golden will have it where it's like original Persona 3 at first. Like everyone acts freely except the main protagonist. I'm like, what? Who thinks this is a good idea? And so now you can actually direct those commands. But there was no, when you hit an enemy weakness, being able to like tag in a friend and have them do another move. None of that. However, 3 didn't have that, and 3 Reload introduced it, and that was called shifting. So that can be here. That'll make combat immediately more snappy and more interesting. Also, shuffle time was in both Persona 3 and 4, and basically 3 Reload reintroduced that and had it where like if you killed an enemy with an all-out attack, it would always trigger it, and you'd get different little XP bonuses or money bonuses, which I thought was really great. But the most stylish were the 3rd G attacks. These were like the ultimate attacks that just, oh my God, especially Aegis's, oh my God, bro. So nice. So that style and presentation level up that I think 4 still has, mostly, and I think it's like title menu, but it's like pause menu and stuff. I never really found 4 to be ultra stylish. Like it's very cohesive, but not ultra stylish. So what I'm saying is that while 4's gameplay I think is really strong, it's not in this bad position that I think 3 was, where 3, number one, had a lot of different versions, but also Persona 3 was sort of in this awkward spot where like each version of the game did something better than the other, where 4 has 2 versions. There's the base game and there's Golden. And I personally am of the mindset that Golden is like objectively better in every way compared to Persona 4. And even if you went with base Persona 4, adhering to the original vision of Persona 4 is not nearly on the level as damning as I think adhering to the original vision of like Tartarus in Persona 3. So yeah, even if we got the same Persona 4 gameplay, it's worth playing. That's how great the story and characters are. That's why it earned itself so many spin-offs. There's a number of spin-offs I want to talk to you about today. While I know many of you are here just to talk about Persona 4 itself, a lot of us drew our attachment to these characters as well from the spin-off games that were all fantastic. I know a lot of people are like, God, Atlas really milked that, didn't they? But for good reason. These games were fire. Now, the only game I can't really talk about with a level of expertise is Persona Q and Q2. Persona Q is a series that I think I was too young to really get into when I first tried it. I was too closed off to the SMT style first-person RPGs, and I'd like to try them again at some point. But when it comes to other spin-offs for Persona 4, I'm all over them. I'm talking about things like Persona 4 Dancing All Night. I know you look at this and you go, rhythm game, QTEs, pass. This is a 10-hour story. I got the Platinum Trophy for this game. I'll always remember playing this in 2017. I have a strong attachment to Persona 4 because it did pull me out of like a legit depression. Like I was just in a really bad spot mentally. I played this game and these characters and just seeing the power of like genuine friendship and just coming to appreciate the world around me more, it really did do something to me. So getting more of those characters was something that I know is an easy sell for me. But Persona 4 Dancing sincerely has a better story than many games nowadays. Like it's cohesive, well written. You're not just dancing for no reason. Like you don't have to buy into the fiction heavily. It all makes sense. Like even these characters being able to dance, it feels like it's woven itself really naturally into the rest of the story. I think when you compare it to even Persona 5 spinoffs, 4 just blows them all out of the water outside of like 5 Strikers. I thought that game was sick. But yeah, like Persona 4 Dancing All Night should not be slept on. It's a great expansion to the Persona 4 story. And even like the way it all comes together at the end where they're all dancing together, it's really powerful stuff. I was like, this is Persona 4 in a nutshell. They make even dancing feel emotional and cool. And fortunately, the fighting games aren't too hard to find, at least Arena Ultimax. Arena Ultimax you can get on PC, PS4, and Switch. These are Arc System fighting games. So, hey, do you like Blaze Blue? Do you like Dragon Ball FighterZ? Were you interested in the Marvel Rival Souls game that just got announced? This is from that same developer. Yeah, they made a Persona fighting game. Now, Persona 4 Arena, the first one, is just a good fighting game. But Persona 4 Arena Ultimax really puts some meat on the bones, and without spoiling anything, it starts to hint at some things that Persona 3 story was kind of teetering toward that I find very interesting. Very interesting implications indeed, and I hope we do eventually get like a Persona 5 Arena or something like that. But Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is a really important game for us Persona 4 diehards because it brings the 3 cast and the 4 cast together in a really cool way. So now it's like a fighting game. And so not only is it a fighting game, but there's even like social moments between these characters where they hang out and talk with one another. And to see like Yukari talking to Yukiko, it's like, oh my God, like, and their original voice actors and actresses, like, oh, this is incredible. So to expand again on those characters, like these are the heartbeat of these stories, because while the dungeon crawling gameplay is great and the actual main storyline is great, a lot of your time is just spent hanging with these characters. It's a very chill vibe. That's why, again, I kind of have that disconnect with like the phone mechanism that's being used in Persona a lot and just fast traveling everywhere, because I'm like, this is a game that's like, slow down, enjoy, smell the roses, that sort of thing. But even these arena games lean into the whole system of Persona. There's auto attacks, there's SP you have to manage when you're using your spells in combat. They even have like a golden dungeon mode in Persona 4 Arena Ultimax where you level up your character and level up your personas and assign skills to them. It's one of my favorite fighting game modes ever. It's right up there with, for those who know, the creme de la creme is like the challenge tower in Mortal Kombat 9. And I think Persona 4's golden dungeon mode is like right there next to it. I think it's just so fun to play, and I put so many hours into it when I was playing it on my PS3. So collectively, Persona 4 is an ecosystem, and it's fantastic. And I do think if you enjoy even just the remake or the base game, it's gonna lead you on this whole journey to seeing more and more of these characters. It truly is one of the casts in gaming I've had the toughest time letting go of. That's why I'm very protective of the recast, but it's because number one, there is that emotional part of the experience. Like, dang, man, like I really felt a lot of strong emotions playing this game and it pulled me out of something personally. That's something powerful for a video game to do. And 5 and 5 Royal did their own things to me. Like, these are life-changing video games. So if you've never played a Persona game, this is truly the best place to start, in my opinion. I love 3 to death, but I think 4, like even next to 5 Royal, I'm like 4 is in that in-between of not too long, in the scheme of JRPGs, by the way, not too short, but also just powerful with some of the best music imaginable. And that's the other thing, like 3 Reload brought new music in, so 4 is gonna get new music. Bro, what? We're gonna be able to dash in these dungeons. We're gonna have sound effects that don't destroy my eardrums. Are you kidding me? This is about to be incredible. So Persona 4, absolutely worth it from top to bottom. Whatever way you tackle Persona 4, get into it, man. It is a special video game. It is in my top 10 of all time. Really, like that and 5 Royal, just games that I will die for. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I've yapped about Persona 4 enough. Hopefully you go ahead and give it a check. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to hear from you. What does Persona 4 mean to you? If there's any newcomers out there, what do you need to know about Persona 4 to get in? Hopefully I answered all of it, but I'm sure the community will help you down below. Fire away. Other than that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next Retro Rebound. Peace out.